Hello friends and welcome to Urania Universe. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the Dreaming Way Tarot, or I'm sorry, just Dreaming Way Tarot. And it is very beautiful as you can see. I actually ordered this online maybe like a week or so ago, and I've been like super anxious to open this, but I wanted to do an unboxing. This is my first unboxing and I'm really excited. I actually saw these cards on Instagram. A woman that I follow, she did like a short little spread and she took a picture of it, and I just fell in love with the artwork, and I'm so happy that she listed what deck it is, or because most times they don't tell you what deck they're using. So I was really happy to know that. So it comes in this box. I got it off Amazon, and it's by US Game Systems. Okay, so it came in like a little plastic, but I already took that off just because that's going to be too much to do on here. All right, so yeah, this thing is packed tight in this box. All right, ooh, this is cool. All right, so this is, it's still in plastic here, and this is the book. So that's the cover of the booklet, and hopefully this comes in pretty clear. Okay, oh, wow, and this is the back of it. I love that. I think I did see that online, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I like the colors too. All right, so now bear with me while I get through this plastic. As most of you know, I'm sure watching this, you are tarot deck collectors, or at least like you probably have multiple. It's like once you open that box of getting decks, it's really hard to stop, So, let's see. No, I'm going to leave that there for now. And so they give you two cards here with it. They're not like, tarot cards. This one is just an illustration by the illustrator, Quan Shina, and the author. So this is just like an advertising piece here of, the tarot deck. I already like the colors. The colors are so vibrant. All right, and then they give you this little card about the author and about the artist. So let's see. The author's name is Rome Choi. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Rome Choi has been professionally involved with tarot since 1997, both in teaching and reading for others. He studied transpersonal psychology at the Seoul University of Buddhism. Or Seoul, I'm assuming. His Zen practices, including meditation, inform his tarot lectures. The characters of tarot came to Rome Choi in a dream, thus he named this deck Dreaming Way Tarot. Okay. And about the artist, Quan Shina. Quan Shina began her artistic career in 1997, illustrating for the Korean magazine paper. She has contributed artwork to comic books including Nine and Cake, and comic websites such as N4 and Comics Today. Her drawings have also appeared in film posters, calendars, and an advertisement. In 2005, she illustrated Alice in the popular Korean novel My Sweet City. So that kind of makes sense why I probably gravitated towards this deck, because I am a comic person. I love comic books. So that would make sense that, I kind of gravitated to this artwork. All right, I'm just going to read the quick introduction to Dreaming Way Tarot. But first, this booklet is really small, really, it gives some brief descriptions, pretty basic. But it looks like it's detailed enough, it gives you upright and reverse, like archetypes or keywords and stuff too. So, okay. It also gives you the intro, like a little brief explanation of the suits, such as cups and pentacles and all that, so I can kind of read about that. Okay, so introduction to Dreaming Way Tarot. I first discovered tarot in the summer of 1997, at the time, even before the web was in common use. One of my friends did a search and found that many people were looking for information about tarot. On an impulse, I joined a tarot study group, and that was the start of my relationship with tarot. 5 years later, I had to get a job after finishing my college education. Korea was in .NET fever at the time, which provided a very favorable condition for me to get a job since I had majored in computer science. But I was so attracted to tarot that I wanted my career to deal with tarot. Before graduating college, I had taught tarot to students at an amateur level and started to read tarot cards to customers professionally. Wishing to enhance my spiritual life beyond tarot, I entered Seoul University of Buddhism, where I majored in transpersonal psychology. One day I heard a moving lecture by a famous monk while I was watching TV. I suddenly realized that I already had everything I wanted and there was nothing more I should pursue. That realization changed my life completely. I found the meaning of happiness and could understand the client's matters more deeply. As my understanding of people grew deeper, the more I could understand tarot and use it to help people, I also realized that there was no evil in the world in the first place, and I should just accept people as they are. I started incorporating these insights into my tarot lectures. After that, the lives of my students, as well as my own life, started to change. They started to love themselves more and live better lives. They embraced their lives more and stopped hating other people. They all came to understand that we're not becoming happy, but rather we are already happy. I try to bring this message into Dreaming Away Tarot. Rather than searching for happiness, just try to embrace the moments of happiness of your life. Wow, that's pretty interesting. I actually like that. That, makes sense to me. Okay, so let's see. So, like I said, there's little introductions to the major arcana and then the suits. So I'm going to read those briefly and then we'll go through the cards. All right, so for the major arcana, he writes, in tarot readings, people tend to think of reverse as the opposite of upright. But that does not mean the cards have opposite meanings. Reverse meanings are usually just weaker or stronger. For example, people tend to think of cold as the opposite of hot. But in fact, there are just different levels of warmth. Reverse cards show different degrees of the same condition. I love that because whenever I do tarot, I definitely listen, obviously, to my intuition. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, say if you get the Fool and it's reverse, I won't mean like, oh, you're jumping into something you shouldn't be jumping into, or, and it definitely depends on a certain situation. However, I would more so read that as like, all right, there is an opportunity that is maybe out of your reach or you're not quite aware of, or you need to open yourself up to the universe in order to make a believable step into moving in a different direction, or, just like changing, like having a new beginning. So there is a block there, and obviously we could probably figure it out through the rest of the cards, but there's going to be a block there that prohibits this energy functioning at a lower vibration. So I won't necessarily mean it, like even with the death card, it's like, if you get that reverse, I'm not like, oh, although the death card reverse isn't, I feel like upright is more intense than it is reverse, but I would never look at that and be like, oh, like you're doing bad things, or like you're gonna die. Obviously, those readings never come out. Like, you never say someone's gonna die. But I'm just saying it's not terrible. It's more so like, why can't you reach this ending, and why can't you, put yourself out there and trust in the universe and trust in yourself, and just whatever the Fool represents, So I do like that. All right, I'm going to read let's see what he has listed here. All right, so he gives you a spread, minor arcana. Oh, interesting. So he gives you some characteristics of the suits. And here's, hopefully you can see this. It's a minor arcana, and I'll just read this really quickly. The basic components of humans are body, mind, and soul. Body can be subdivided into matter and body. Mind can be subdivided into emotion and mind. Soul can be subdivided into soul and spirit. These 6 components can be ordered hierarchically: matter, body, emotion, mind, soul, and spirit from the bottom. Tarot's minor arcana relates to the bottom 4 steps. Pentacles mean materials. Wand means body. Cups means emotion. Swords means mind. Therefore, Pentacles have the features of Earth and deal with financial and safety-related things mostly. It has a conservative and feminine in nature. Wands have a fire nature and relate to the body. They deal with desire, passion, and fervor. The suit is progressive and masculine. Cups have a water nature and relate to the emotions. They indicate tolerance and accommodation. The suit is conservative and feminine. Swords have an air nature and relate to the mind. They mean pursuit of judgment and high standards. The suit is progressive and masculine. Interesting. Okay, so we have characters of numbers. So each of the pip cards has its own unique nature, just as the suits do. The characteristics are similar to numerological interpretation. However, they have other features as well. So it goes through, so I'll show you that. So it goes through the characteristics of the number 1 equals existence, 2 is unique action, 3 is first completion, 4 is conservative, 5 is difficulty or challenge, 6 is second completion, 7 is illusion, 8 is new beginning, 9 is the third completion, 10 is excess. Page means a person is still immature and often fails to deal with problems despite great effort, but the failures become the solid foundation of growth and change. Knight, for each knight, the form of action is different depending on the suit. The person will have confidence about his or her work. He or she is active, dynamic, and fearless. The queen is intuitive and tends to focus on helping others rather than changing within herself. The king tries to protect existing things rather than achieving new goals. He values power and authority and does not tolerate his authority being challenged. Interesting. All right, I'm going to read the intro to each of these elements, or to each of the suits, and then we're going to look at these cards. Okay, so Pentacles, rational, feminine, conservative, earth, and materials. Pentacles relate not only to money, but also to material goods. The reason we desire money is not always to live extravagant lives. We need money to sustain our lives. Pentacles indicate indispensable things and security. The 4 areas that make us feel safe are money, body, emotion, and mind, all of which are included in Pentacles, and each is related to the minor 4 suit. And that was Pentacles. All right, here we go with Wands. Wands, emotional, masculine, progressive, fire, and body. Wands cards often relate to jobs or creative works. The endeavors that we find most interesting and the things we do with passion, confidence, and fervor. Male sexual desire also belongs to Wands era. Okay. Let's see. Cups. Emotional, feminine, conservative, water, and emotion. The suit of Cups relates to emotions. Cups basically have the strong desire to get along with others. The desire to be close with others can sometimes blur the boundary between people. The positive aspects are listening to others, being tolerant and friendly, and having a warm heart. But there are problems distinguishing between the public and the private, and unclear distinctions between what's mine and what's yours. I do like that. I like that he definitely gives these suits, very... like the energy I like that he attaches to these suits are good. I'm really excited to work with this deck because a lot of what he said so far are things that I believe. So, all right, swords, rational, masculine, progressive, air, mind. Swords play the role of criteria when decided something. When we make judgments, we rely on criteria as well as rationality. Swords are most rational among the suits. Sometimes swords look inhumane, cold, and selfish, but in fact they are most efficient at making decisions and taking action without any regrets. So yeah, swords are sobering. I mean, it's swords. It's very appropriate. Swords are probably the harshest, and I'm saying that with quotes, the harshest part of the deck. But yeah, swords have grown me, and once you start reading tarot, often you will definitely come to appreciate the soberingness of the sword suit. And they also, so he gives you just one little spread, and it's a 5-card spread. And maybe I will do this after we go through the deck. Okay. All right. I really love the back of these. It's freaking awesome. Okay. Yeah, these are super vibrant colors. I love that. So we have the Fool here. Yeah, and let's see. This cardstock is, I think it's a good, good thickness. It's not very, not super thin, but not too thick. I think it'll be easy to shuffle these. Yeah. It's like modern. I feel like this artwork is pretty modern. So here's the Magician. And you got all the tools that you need. I don't see the infinity. That's one of the things I did like about the Magician. There usually is like an infinity symbol above his head, but and he doesn't have. He doesn't have his arm raised with the sword or the wand or whatever. But I like how this is up and this is down, so you can even look at it as above, so below. Type of thing. So this is on the cover, and that is the High Priestess. And this is, I feel like this is very relatable. Like, I can look at this and be like, oh, that's me. I can be, you know, like, it's like any normal girl that's striving for that spiritual development, spiritual enlightenment. I really like this card. And I like the Empress. The Empress is really good. She looks as if she's pregnant. And I love that it's so mundane, you know. She has her hand resting over her belly. So I'm wondering, like, I mean, she definitely looks pregnant. And I like that because the Empress is the mother. It is that matriarch figure, but a very like soft, like, you know, the High Priestess is a feminine energy, but it's more so like, you know, learning, you know, it's the priestess. It's the opposite of a priest. It's the female priest or whatever you want to say. So the Empress is more of that very calming, just like natural feminine energy, you know, just the essence of femininity. So here's the Emperor. I like that. He's thinking pretty hard. And usually emperors in decks, they actually look pretty, like, I don't know if mean is the right word, but yeah, this one, he looks, I like the way he looks in that. Hopefully you can see it. I can't. Ooh, we got the Hierophant. This one, I like this. I'm going to have to go through on my own the interpretation of these cards because they're definitely, the artwork is a lot different than, you know, traditional tarot decks. So I'm excited to see his interpretation of this. Here we have the Lovers, which is interesting because it's 3 instead of 2. You know, the person in the front or in the middle is more so, the person in the middle has wings. And that's come together. And they're all holding hands. That's interesting. Oh, the Chariot. I don't know what to say about it. This one is interesting. I mean, I definitely have the white and the black. So, I mean, that's duality. I mean, I have to read the interpretations of these. Ooh, okay, the Strength card does have the infinity symbol here. I like that. I just love how this is almost kind of modern, you know, like, I'm really excited to use these cards. We got the Hermit. And in the this little lantern, it's a 6-pointed star, which is cool. And it seems like the energy that I'm getting from this card is that this Hermit is more so going on a secluded journey versus like just already being in seclusion. It's like, okay, I'm taking this journey alone to learn something and to kind of like step out of the matrix, you know? So we have the Wheel of Fortune, which it's pretty interesting. It seems as if this is angel. So there are angel wings behind it. And let me like make sure. Yeah, there are angel wings. And there's some rope being tied to the Wheel of Fortune. So I almost kind of want to look at this real quick because I'm curious by the rope. Like, what kind of meaning does that have? And these are pretty short interpretations. Okay, there's no predestined plan for us. What you do today will affect your future. If you are unsatisfied with your situation now, you need to make changes in your life. Expand your outlook by stepping back to see the larger cycles of events. Increased awareness can alter attitudes and outcomes. So some archetypes associated with this is visions, finding answers, getting involved, experiencing change, moving in a new direction, unexpected encounters, finding opportunities. So, I mean, this is kind of like saying, you know, you have the choice of like free will. You have free will, so it's saying that you can create your own reality. And if you don't like something, then, you know, change it. And I like that. And this is definitely different from like traditional tarot because it's more so of, you know. All right, the Justice card is pretty interesting. She's blindfolded, holding the scales with the sword down. Her hand is actually on the blade. That's pretty interesting. Wow. The Hangman. Yeah, these cards are very detailed. I like. So there's all kind of ties going on here. And at first I thought that this was an involuntary hanging, and not necessarily a bad sense, but it's like a forced reclusion. But the look on her face is like, you know, not peaceful, but I wouldn't say it's like the traditional Rider-Waite hangman. Let's see what this says in the book. We should consider the reason why the hangman is hanged. There are benefits to this position. First is halting. You cannot observe the world when you move at the same speed with the world. Second is upside down. You cannot find any new things when you view the world as the same as other people do. The third is thinking. You should think if you want to figure out the meaning of what you have observed while you are halting. Therefore, this card indicates contemplation. Okay. Which is, you know, like the traditional interpretation of it. Just a little different artwork. These major arcanas are interesting. I'm not quite sure. You know, it's definitely different, and I'm a creature of habit. So I'm like, I don't know exactly how I feel about some of these. I do like this deck because it's pretty simple. It's not scary, but it's more like, you know, here I come. Time to put an end to this, whatever it is in your life. So that's kind of cool. All right, Temperance. And I like the Temperance has angel wings. There are a couple angels in here. I do like that. Or there are a lot of wings. And I like the cups. The cups are kind of like, you know, modern-y. The Devil's pretty interesting. There are like bat wings, and the guy is like hung by his neck. And it's like she's controlling what they're doing. And that's interesting that she's kind of boxed in as well. I want to look at the meaning of this. The Devil card holds the key to the agony in your mind, which is caused by obsession. You cannot feel free until you release yourself from your emotional entanglements and your dependence upon others. Your mindless pursuit of power and pleasure is leading you down a dark path. Facing the unknown brings you back to the light. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's just saying, like, basically that anxiety and, you know, anything that's emotionally, you know, you're kind of dwelling on emotionally. This is like kind of an indicator of this energy is present, and the only way to really get out of it is if you, you know, redirect your thinking or really evaluate the situation and take control into your own hands. Pretty much, you're going to need the Wheel of Fortune after this card, so you can, you know, create your own reality. If you don't like a situation, figure it out and change something about it. There's a Tower, not very intense. I mean, it is a crumbling structure. Smoke coming out, but I mean, obviously we've all seen worse Tower cards or more intense Tower cards. There aren't even people jumping out of the windows and whatnot. All right, so then we have the Star, which I kind of like this. It's like a modern day. I'm an Aquarius, so this is my card, and I do like just the modern, like the pictures, they're cool. They're like pictures that I would have in my kitchen, you know. And the water looks really colorful, and I just love like the design, the artwork on this. Have the moon, which, you know, I don't know how I feel about this card. It just doesn't really do anything for me. I'm going to have to read about that one because I'm like, I'm not feeling that artwork. Under the moonlight, everything is vague and outcomes are undetermined. What you think, in fact, may turn out to be an illusion. Something you fear may actually be beneficial. When you are feeling lost, the best thing you can do is wait for clarity. So, I mean, that's definitely the interpretation of the moon. I really feel that the art doesn't really coincide with the interpretation. And maybe it's like because she's playing with the lobster and it looks like it's pinching the moon. But I don't know. It's not my favorite. All right. And we have the sun. I do like this one because I love sunflowers. And this is interesting because the actual sun is not even in this. I do like that it is, you know, the sun there and you have the inner child because, you know, I don't know why the lollipop is there. I'm sure it's to enforce the energy of the inner child. Let's see what the book says. You cannot hide anything under the bright sunlight. This card means clearness and illumination. You can help others easily as you know what you can and cannot accomplish. Therefore, you can gain their trust. You're ready to fully realize your potential. So, yeah, this artwork doesn't really have anything to do with the actual meaning. At least I think. Like, when I saw this, I'm like, okay, your inner child, like, you know, get back in touch with that. That's what I'm saying with that. So, I'm like, did you guys collaborate? Like, the author and the artist? Like, you know. Okay, that makes sense for the judgment. You have the trumpets and, you know. Let's see. I'm not sure how I feel about this world card. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it. He's feeling good, looking good, or ish. I guess he looks, you know, good and healthy. But, I mean, that's also debatable. That's subjective. Let's see what they write. Some projects or situations are now complete. This card indicates a successful end of your journey. All the elements have come together, bringing harmony and a sense of fulfillment. It means the end of one stage and the start of another. So, you know, that is that. I mean, I get it. He's sitting there. He looks like he has completed something worthy. He looks satisfied. So now we're going to get into the suits, and I'm just going to go quicker through these. Ace of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. And these are like pretty much in agreement with the, you know, Rider-Waite or traditional. I mean, some things are a little different, but yeah, I mean. Seven of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, this is a very modern deck. This would be good for, you know, people. Nine of Pentacles. Loving the little coat dress thing. That's cool with the grapes. 10 of Pentacles. This one's interesting because 10 of Pentacles is really that, like, I mean, so upon his interpretation of the number 10 where it's like excess, like that could be, I feel like that could be good or bad. Like whenever I saw the 10 of Pentacles, you know, I thought it was, or maybe I'm thinking of the Ten of Cups where it's that like pure enjoyment and like wishful happiness and whatnot. So these people look like they're just like, I mean, I don't know. Everyone looks flush, you know, flush with these pentacles. So, all right, this is my favorite pentacles, the Page, thus far. I haven't seen the rest of them, but I'm thinking Knight, and that's like the Rider-Waite, and the Queen. Grapes everywhere. I do love grapes. And the King. So yeah, those are pretty true to Rider-Waite style. All right, Ace of Wands, Two of Wands, Three of Wands. I'm not really a fan of this one. Four of Wands. This one is a clear indication of like a union of some sort or like a wedding. Five of Wands. Which, that's interesting. What is it? Six of Wands. Seven of Wands. Eight of Wands. I like the way the artwork on the wands, they look like actual real sticks, you know, like staffs. Nine of Wands. I like this one. This one is, you know, I just like that one. Ten of Wands. Some of these are more expressive, and I like that. Like this one is just like, oh, I'm so tired. I can't even pick up this last wand. Page of Wands. That one's pretty simplistic, but her face doesn't look so pleasing. Knight of Wands. I do like the Queen with the sunflowers behind her. Queen of Wands. And the King of Wands. I like this chair. Okay. So that was a wand suit. I mean, it was alright. It didn't really, you know, blow my dick off, so to speak. Okay. Sorry. Ace of Cups. And I like the cup suit. Very modern. And I love the water. Like, look at this. I mean, hopefully you can see this. But I love that. Two of Cups. I like that. Thus far, I'm liking the cups. Like, you can tell the energy has definitely switched up a little bit. Like, the Pentacles were a little serious. The Wands seemed a lot like there was some energy, like some hint of exertion there. And this looks more like celebratory. You know, obviously, they did a good job of expressing the emotional aspect of these cards, like the elements of that. Like this Four of Cups here. It looks so disappointed, like, so I'm not happy with this. And it's like, well, there's a cup behind you. If you'd only pay attention. This one's pretty interesting. Yeah, the cups are my favorite. Right, as of right now. We'll see the swords in a minute. Oh, this is sweet. Six of Cups. Ooh, this Seven of Cups is really cool. It's like you can see the different things in them. Like there's a kingdom in one, a snake in the other, money, a woman. Really, really interesting. Hopefully you can see that. Eight of Cups. Nine of Cups. I love the colors. Like, I love the purple. Like, these are all, like, the colors just really stand out to me. Ten of Cups. I really like this Page of Cups. Page of Cups. Knight of Cups. Queen of Cups. And the King. Okay. All right, sword suit. So I really, thus far, the cup suit is my favorite. I love the colors. I love the energy. Very emotive. They did a really good job with that. Okay. Here's the swords. We have the ace, which is, you know, these swords look, there's a lot of detail in them. Two of Swords. Got a guard up. Ooh. Wow, this is an intense Three of Swords. Four of Swords. That doesn't really... Four of Swords is, I think, the one where it's like a meditative state. That doesn't... I mean, maybe. But I like the other one, the traditional Rider-Waite. Like, his eyes are closed, but, you know, that's pretty much it. Five of Swords. Pretty good. Six of Swords. Seven of Swords. Eight of Swords. Ooh. All right, now I like this Nine of Swords. This is cool. I mean, it's, you know, obviously the energy of it. And I like how these blades are curvy. That's kind of creepy. Ten of Swords is a little disturbing. It's like, I can't take anymore. Page. Knight. Very just sobering. I like how the sword suit is white. You know, the backgrounds are mostly white. Like, it looks cold and frigid. Kind of like that aspect. And King. All right, so I'm going to do a quick spread that was given in the deck. And let's see what this deck has to tell me. So this is a 5-card spread, and yeah, these are pretty sturdy. I mean, they definitely hold up, but they're easy to shuffle, especially I can see after using them pretty frequently that they will loosen up a little bit. Okay. I mean, overall, I think this would be a good deck to read with clients because I just love the, you know, the artwork is so beautiful. Even though, you know, some of like the major arcana, just some of those cards didn't really like line up well for me with the interpretation. So it can be kind of confusing if you don't have a strong practice or knowledge of tarot. But if you've been reading tarot for a long time, I've been reading tarot for about like 12, 13 years. So I have a pretty strong sense of what the actual interpretations of them are. And what I like is like, I know that authors put their own interpretations, obviously with influence from the traditional most of the time, but you know, they kind of tweak it because it is like personal. They do put their personal touches on it. So I like to know what they kind of put along the lines with these cards. And from the few that I read, the interpretations, it seems that he kind of kept true to the traditional interpretations. And the suits were, I think they did a really good job as far as the artwork with the suits. And especially the cups. That was my favorite. And it was, you know, the energy is definitely reflected through the artwork. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, I feel like I shuffled these pretty good. I'm going to do one more time. Just for peace of mind. Yeah, these, I like the cardstock on these. They're good. Nice and sturdy. Okay. Now let me pull up this spread here. I'm going to cut my deck. Okay. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. All right. So here is present gifts. Here is the past. Here is change. Here is delusion. And here is dreams. Ooh, okay. So I'm doing this as if I'm reading it towards you. So the camera. So the only card that's actually, or there are two reverse cards. The Hangman and the Empress. Okay. And initially I, like he said, I'm reading these reverse cards as if they have, as if the energy isn't 100% there. And it could be because these are things, you know, energy's changing, you know, what are you going to do? Okay. Let's put this aside. So I do a 5-card spread. This is kind of similar, but because I usually do main topic or main event, something that's kind of like can either be tying you down or a useful tool at your feet. This is obviously your goal or your purpose or, you know, something to look for, like look ahead to, something that's like in the sky. And this is usually, let's see. Yeah, so this would be the something setting, and this would be on the horizon. So this would be leaving, and this would be coming in. So this is like past, present. So this is exactly like, you know. So what is presently your greatest source of joy? So here's the King of Swords. So before I even look at the interpretation, how I would read this is that personally, I do believe that when it comes to the mental aspect of my life, like it definitely gives me great joy, and I the fact that it's King of Swords makes so much sense because I spend so much of my time like learning. I spend a lot of time, you know, talking with others about what I've been learning, and that's my whole point is like I want to soak up this information, and what I get from it that has helped me personally and that's inspiring is what I choose to share with others. So I'm always reading, I'm always learning. So the King of Swords, you know, makes so much sense to me that it's my current source of joy. Also, being that it is a mental card, like sometimes, you know, there is like good and bad, obviously the positive and the negative, even ultimately everything is a part of the good. You know, if with lower energies associated with that card, for me, it could be like anxiety, mental anxiety. So this is why I meditate and everything, because sometimes I don't know how to shut it off. I'm just like, you know, have to keep learning. Let's see. So King of Swords in here, they said reasonable father. So, I mean, I'm not a father, but yeah, it's that patriarch, high father energy. Capable, incredible, high standards, analytical mind, and clarity. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so the next one is the past, which is Ace of Cups. So in traditional tarot, I would see Ace of Cups, and that's like spiritual growth or enlightenment or spiritual development. So even though this is the past, this is definitely still the present, but it's like I started this new journey because, you know, I will look at it from Ace to King as like an evolutionary process. And Ace is like, you know, it's 1, it's 0, or it's 0 or whatever. So it'll be that new beginning. So I did recently just start a new beginning of my own personal spiritual growth. that is in fact turning into, learning, taking what I have learned personally and helping out others. So let's see, Ace of Cups. I was going to read what he said. I can get to it. Okay. Feeling good about somebody, warmth, emotional intimacy, compassion, deep attraction. Okay. All right. So the coming in result, the Hangman. So like I said before, I feel that this is reversed because, it hasn't been fully tapped into yet. Like it's on the horizon. Things are shifting. So we got the Hangman here. And what that would say is that I have begun to start thinking, I mean, obviously I've always been the type of person to think outside the box because I'm an Aquarius. However, I am definitely eliminating the box in general because I'm like, what is this box? Who cares? Like, I don't care about this. I'm starting to look at subjects that are a lot of metaphysical things that some people might not understand right away. But my whole point is like, I'm learning these new concepts and I am trying to figure out a way to communicate that with anyone who wants to learn and wants to listen and wants to grow. So that is in fact me looking at things upside down and having a moment to reflect. But let's read it again. Let's see. Hangman. Okay, we should consider the reason why the Hangman is hanged. There are benefits to this position. First, it is halting. You cannot observe the world when you move at the same speed with the world. Second is upside down. You cannot find any new things when you view the world the same as other people do. The third is thinking. You should think if you want to figure out the meaning of what you have observed while you are halting. Therefore, this card indicates contemplation. Contemplation in response to difficult decisions, seeing things in opposition. Definitely where I'm at right now. 3 of Wands. They said this position is, let's see. This position is a delusion. So what messages have you been telling yourself that you no longer believe? What excuses hold you back? So I would say that associated with this card, 3 of Wands is like looking out on the horizon, taking an adventure. So in association with this card, what's been holding me back is my own personal fear of just jumping out there, like kind of similar energy as the Fool, jumping out with blind faith. That's not my strong suit. I have a lot of Capricorn energy and I have Scorpio rising. I like to have a system and plan things out in a certain way. So when it comes to like, oh, you're just going to do this and you just have to have faith that it'll all work out, And lately I have been having conversations with myself and thinking about my life in general. It's like, everything usually I'm stressing about something, but it always works out. Like I am where I am right now because at the end of the day, like it all works out. And this is when I have to argue that I feel like we do have a predestined plan, which is our vocation or our dharma or our life purpose. So when these things are, like when you tap into that and you just trust in the universe or God or the source or whatever you want to call it, then you are, you will be taken care of as long as you're doing things the way you should, not like stealing and killing and all that stuff. Okay. So let's see what the 3 of Swords represents. See what they say. Or 3 of Wands, sorry, 3 of Wands. So expand horizons, looking ahead, forward thinking, visionary. So yeah, that was literally what was holding me back. And like you can look at it, and that's why I look at that position in different ways, where it's like, this can be something at my feet, like a tool. So in this instance, it is a tool. But if you look at it from a different perspective, if you're like, what's holding you back? So what signifies with this card? So what would be holding me back from reaching my ultimate goal, reaching happiness, or complete joy would be, not expanding my horizons, kind of playing it safe and whatnot. Okay. So the dreams, what do you aspire to? Dare to dream big. And this is the Empress, which makes complete sense to me. And I love that it's a major arcana card at the top. I love that divine feminine energy. First of all, I want to have kids. I want to be a mom. I love taking care of others. So, you know, my goal is to, at some point, reach that sense of being where I will be, you know, that mother figure for people around me, other people's children, my own children, and just be that warm feminine energy that people want to come talk to, you know, because I do have that Scorpio rising, so I've heard that I can be pretty, not intense, but some people get intimidated by me. And more so, I want to be like a gentle person. Like once you get to know me, you're like, oh, she's so sweet, she's gentle and whatever. But, you know, that initial experience with me, I guess people are just like, oh, I was like really intimidated by you. Okay, so the Empress plays the role of assisting and taking care of others rather than leading others. As a life-giving Earth Mother, she reigns over the bounty of nature. She encourages abundance and luxury. The Empress card relates to pregnancy and birth. Pregnant, expecting birth, passive and getting a job. Pregnant, expecting birth, passive and getting a job, friendly, warm, soft, housewife, nurse, caregiver, mother, in harmony with nature. So, wow, yeah. That is literally what I just said. So that was the Dreaming Way Tarot. Hopefully you enjoyed this unboxing. Hopefully you got to see the spread, because I can't really see my camera screen right now because of how I'm recording this. So I apologize if some of these things are out of view. But I really do enjoy this deck. I think it would be good for personal readings, and it's very like clean and bright and all of those things. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and check out my other videos on here on YouTube. I have some other videos on tarot. I have some stuff on astrology. Check out my Witch's Diary. Once that has launched, I will be uploading it here on YouTube. Take care, guys. Namaste.